Yo, what is up, my fallopian tubers? Cesario from the barrio coming back at you with another video for your butt. So, chilling after another day of work, and gonna make a video response for James. So, James wants us to talk about like why we gravitate more to vintage than to modern. Like, this is why I love vintage. I love vintage everything. You know, I love old ladies, and but I like vintage everything, and there's nothing different. With baseball cards, I love the vintage baseball cards. So he kind of wants just two reasons. And for me, one of the reasons is because I'm a set collector, and I prefer when I shop. I love shopping for vintage singles to add to my sets. When comparing vintage to modern, when I go buy vintage cards and say they have 10 of, a Hank Aaron 73, every 10 of those cards looks different. None of them are equally the same, because they're vintage. They've been around. They were actually handled. You know what I mean? There's so many cards nowadays that no human has ever really touched, because even the breaker was wearing gloves, and he turns it in and they grade it with gloves, and now it's sealed forever. I mean, that's just weird to me. I like looking at cards and trying to distinguish, like, how did this corner bend, how did this crease get done. You could think so much with vintage, but when it comes to modern, when I go through the modern, like if I see a box of 2022 and I need to fill in, I need a couple of cards, and I go through there looking for the ones I need, they could have 20 of them, and all 20 of those cards basically look exactly the same. There is no difference. I mean, I was at Burbank's card, and I was looking at the 73s, and they had four Hank Aaron's. You know what? I'm gonna look for that picture. I did when I was there. I was thinking of Dylan the whole time I was shopping. I was thinking of Dylan, and that's the thing. Like, I'm at the shop, and say there's four Hank Aaron's, and three of them were for $20, and one was for 25. I'll look for that picture, and I'll make it the thumbnail if I find it. But anyways, those three Hank Aaron's that were $20. Two of them kind of had the exact same centering, like they were both way off, but they looked the same. But one had a corner ding on this bottom of the left. The other one had a top right ding. So those were both $20. And the other one that was $20 was like perfectly centered, but creased to all hell. And I was like, I wonder if Dylan would prefer this well-centered card that's, pretty beat up, like not loved at all, and had all kinds of creases everywhere, or some would argue well loved. But I wonder which one he would prefer. Those two other Hank Aaron's for $20 that were really clean, nice corners but badly centered, or if he would get the perfectly centered one with a lot of damage. So anyway, yeah, that whole time I was shopping, and so you put way more thought into which card you're gonna buy in vintage. You know what I mean? So if I go to a LCS card show for modern, you find it's real quick. If I need 10 cards, I'm just gonna get one. They all look the same. I don't think about it. But if I'm buying vintage and they have 10 cards, looking at those cards, might take me 5 to 10 minutes. Every card, every number, getting every art, and then deciding which one to buy. So it's just way more fun and interesting. And then you got like history. When you look at baseball cards, like you look at a baseball card like this, and there's like, oh, look at, there's Pepino. He was the first Mexican peanut and beer salesman at the ballpark. He was the first Mexican. You got Jackie Robinson, the first African American to play baseball. There's history. You know what I mean? And then you got, like, remember Lowell Palmer? Well, he was the first blind pitcher, the first pitcher ever to pitch, and he was completely blind. Some say it was a publicity stunt, but a lot of people thought, he could do it, and he only, when you look at his stats, he only pitched, he never completed an inning. But his ERA was 0. No wins, no losses. Uh, what is that? Strikeouts. He had no strikeouts, but he did have 3 base on balls and two hit batters. So hey, he did something. He made it. He made it to the show. But there you go, like the first blind pitcher. So you learn a lot about history. You know, so there's one of the reasons. All right, so two. So love the hobby and just keep collecting baseball cards forever. I say, ciao.